Hey, Joe here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a review on the KitchenAid Classic Stand Mixer. KitchenAid makes a bunch of models and the Classic is the least expensive in the lineup right now. In this review we're going to find out if it's an inexpensive bargain or just a big waste of your money. So you ready? Let's get into this. Before we get into this review, there's one thing you should know. The KitchenAid Classic comes in the KitchenAid Classic and also the KitchenAid Classic Plus. The difference between the two is supposed to be that the Classic has a 250 watt motor and the Classic Plus has a 275 watt motor. But there is a little bit of confusion there because for a while the Classic was made with a 250 watt motor and also with a 275 watt motor. And I think that was probably before the Plus model actually came out, and when it did, they just kind of severed the two and put the 275 watt motors in the Pluses. In my case, I have a Classic with the 275 watt motor, so for all intents and purposes, it is a Classic Plus because that's the only difference between the two models. And definitely if you're in the market for a KitchenAid mixer, you do want that higher power. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're dealing with heavy dough, that extra power does make a big difference. On this mixer, the controls are very basic. On the left side, you got a speed control that goes from 0 to 10. Basically 0 is off, obviously, and 10 is maximum speed. Okay. You'd use the top speed for really light ingredients, and you use the bottom speed for really heavy ingredients. On the other side, you got a lock lever. If it is off, then you can tilt the top of the mixer up, and if it's on, obviously, you can't. There's a quick release on this for the attachment, so basically the way you'd work that is you just push the attachment up and twist it over, and then it should pop right off. Then you can just twist it back on the opposite way that you just came on, and as you can see, that locks in really good. In the box it comes with 3 attachments. You get a flat beater like this, you get a dough hook, and you get a wire whip. The guy who named all this stuff is a genius, so there's no confusion as to what these do. That whip stuff, that beat stuff, and the dough hook is for making dough. As you can see with the Classic model, the bowl doesn't have a handle on it. It's actually attached into the stand. As you can see, it's in there pretty good, and if you want to get it out, you just twist it to the right and pop it off. And as you can see, it's threaded here on the bottom. So if you want to put that back on, you just twist it back on and you're good to go. The more expensive models are actually suspended up here from the array. The bowl here has a maximum capacity of 4.5 quarts, and if you're keeping count, that would actually make 6 pounds of mashed potatoes in here, 6 dozen cookies, or 4 loaves of bread all at one time. To me, that's a pretty good size. I wouldn't want to get anything smaller than that just to make sure that you don't actually run out of space in it, but you don't necessarily need anything larger unless you're doing bigger jobs. One change that I made right away when I got mine was instead of using the flat beater here that comes with it, I actually got a flat edge beater. As you can see, they look about the same, except mine has got sort of a little spatula attachment here on the side. That really helps sweep the inside of the bowl when you got the mixer on, and I just kind of feel like it helps it do a better job. The main reason that people get a mixer is to make baking and cooking tasks just a little bit easier, and really most mixers are going to be able to get that job done. The thing that makes KitchenAid mixers different and actually better in my opinion is this thing right here. That's actually what they call a power hub. Basically you just kind of turn the screw here and you can pop the cover off, and the motor for the mixer will drive a little tool in here. KitchenAid and a couple of different manufacturers make attachments that fit into this, and they help extend the functionality of your mixer to well beyond what you thought you could do with one. I can show you a couple of the attachments that I have. Let's get that bowl out first. I have a juicer. Slide this in and tighten this up here, and you turn this on, and then the mixer will turn the head here, and you've got a really good juicer, which includes a little catch-all here for the pulp. Also, I like to make a lot of pasta, so of course I've got pasta attachments for this. First one here is a ravioli maker. Now this one doesn't get driven by the mixer itself, but does get attached here. And then you just use the crank here to turn these around. But the other ones do. Got an angel hair attachment, a linguine attachment, and one for fettuccine. That fits on just like that. And when the motor goes, it actually turns the rollers on the inside here. So it would actually just feed the sheets of pasta through. The only other attachment I have is a spiralizer. You have your main unit to just connects right in here like this. And then you have 4 blades here that give you some different cutting options. There's a peeling blade that comes with this thing too. In my case, I'm just gonna use the spiralizer here. Goes on just like that. And then you just put this on here. And you're ready to spiralize something, which I'll show you really quick. If you're doing zucchini pasta, then this thing works fantastic. Now see, it does a great job. Look at that. By the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks, and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. In addition to the attachments that I've shown you, KitchenAid makes a whole bunch of other ones. There's a grain mill, there's a sifter, a full-on food processor. They even make a pasta press. If you don't know what that is, basically if you remember when you were playing with Play-Doh when you were a kid, and you put all of the dough in the compartment on top and turn the crank, and you put different attachments in the bottom, and it would shoot out skinny tubes of Play-Doh. Well, basically replace the Play-Doh with actual dough, and there you go. So if the ability to use those attachments is a selling point for you, then definitely you're looking at a KitchenAid mixer because they've cornered the market on that. In fact, I'm not sure there's another brand that actually does that to the extent that they do. Another good selling point is that they're made in the United States. And as far as reliability goes, I've never even heard of one of these things breaking before. So they tend to be pretty bulletproof. Now to get into cost, the KitchenAid Classic Plus is about 300 bucks, which puts it right at the very bottom of the KitchenAid lineup. It doesn't mean that it's a bad mixer at all, but it does tend to have the least number of features. But as you can see, having the power hub on the front of that thing really extends out the functionality of the thing anyway. Well, as long as we're still talking about price, then I guess we need to talk about the price on these accessories. Because if you go on the KitchenAid's website and look at the price of this stuff, it's going to make you think that somebody was on crack when they were pricing some of these things out. As you can see, these are really expensive. In fact, a lot of these attachments aren't going to work as well as a dedicated product that performs the same task, but in some cases they're almost triple the price on some of this stuff. So you got to pick your accessories wisely. For instance, I would never buy the food processor attachment for this. I mean, look at that. That's insane. I mean, every single one of these attachments to me is overpriced. But even at that price, there's a couple that I might still consider getting anyway, just because dedicated devices for that are really expensive also. One is the meat grinder, and the other just because is going to be that pasta press, because I do think that's pretty cool. The sifter, go get yourself a $10 sifter. The food processor, go pick up a Ninja or something. They're under 100 bucks. And the grain mill, come on, give me a break. So at the end of the day, it's a great product at a good price. For me, I don't need the extra bells and whistles that you get with some of those higher models. That does the job just fine for me. Accessories, if you like those, just get what you need and just kind of forget about the other ones. As far as competing mixers go, the fact that they don't have something like the power hub on them really limits them and really makes the KitchenAid stand out even more. And as far as KitchenAid's own line goes, the Classic Plus is about $200 cheaper than the next model up. So obviously my recommendation is, if you're in the market for a mixer, you can't really go wrong with KitchenAid. If you want to check out a little bit more about KitchenAid's lineup, I've got a link down in the description area of the video. Also, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about Joe's Phenomenal, you can check out a couple more of our videos, or you can check us out online at joesphenomenal.com. As always, I thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to check out our video. Once again, my name's Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.